little later, maybe perhaps even hours from now. But Matt, going back to your description, because it's quite extraordinary what you're able to reveal to us as we cover this story.
Well, immediately after the first tremor subsided, we went and we turned on the TV because all of the channels will immediately switch to earthquake coverage, official earthquake coverage when something like this happens. And so everybody was told, you could hear on all the TVs, and they were making announcements on the street over loudspeakers to get away, to evacuate if you were anywhere near water, if you're anywhere near that sort of area, to get away from it. And it is, there were several minutes before the water actually hit. They can predict it with very, very high degree of accuracy. And so there is a good hope, at least I hope, that many of the people who were watching TV and heard about this and know about tsunamis from living in that area were able to evacuate the shorelines. But you can't tell, and when you see things like cars being swept away in the water, is there somebody in there? I mean, that's something certainly that is weighing on all of our minds right now.
And something that struck me, Matt, when I was talking to our reporter Kyung La in Tokyo, was the time, the delay between the earthquake hitting and the final decision to evacuate people from an underground area, from the subways there, which I found striking. Anywhere else, there wouldn't necessarily be that delay and you would move very quickly. Is that because people are so used to earthquakes hitting that it takes them a little while to assess whether this is a deadly one and they need to move quickly?
I think absolutely that Japanese people are more attuned to earthquakes. They're more used to it certainly than I was, where I grew up on the east coast of the United States, where we don't have much in the way of earthquakes. And they tend to take it in stride a little bit more. But this was larger than anyone expected. It went on for longer than anyone expected. And I think there's also a high degree of self-sufficiency among people here, especially with regards to earthquakes, just as my wife showed, where she was cool-headed and had all of these techniques for dealing with an earthquake hitting. I'm sure that even long before an official announcement to evacuate, people who felt these sort of tremors would absolutely have some sense of what to do and begin to leave the areas. The real danger right now, I believe, is the tsunamis that are hitting. I'm looking at footage right now of Sendai Airport up north, which has been completely inundated. It's completely underwater right now. All of the runways and the buildings are filling with water from what I can see on TV. So this is a major, major, major hit to Japan's infrastructure. I haven't heard anything about what's going on with the subways or anything downtown. I know that they are prone in some cases to being filled with water in the event of a tsunami hitting, but I haven't heard any reports of that. But certainly up north and all of the coastal areas are taking a major, major hit right now.
And Matt, of course, we know, as we've discussed, that the Japanese are very used to these earthquakes. The cities are built to withstand major earthquakes. But what sort of measures are in place to deal with tsunamis on the ground there?
Well, there's actually quite a few. Most places that are tsunami prone, most of the cities have large walls that are built around them, the townships. Even small places have large floodgates and things like that. Tokyo has an extremely elaborate system of floodgates that are used to divert tsunami waters. So I think there's actually a high chance that there's going to be less casualties than there might otherwise be in places that don't have these sorts of measures in place. But Japan has known about the threat of tsunamis for a very, very long time. And there's almost no case that I can think of where a coastal city is not behind some kind of wall or built atop some kind of abutment to bring it far higher than the level of sea level. But that's what's precisely so frightening about these photos, because the waters look to be overwhelming a lot of these measures that have been put in place. And I don't think this is any kind of statement about ill-preparedness. I think it's just a testament to how powerful this earthquake was and how powerful the tsunami is. That is, it's hitting Japan even as we speak on the phone right now.
Indeed. I mean, this is unfolding before our very eyes. And as we talk the audience through this, and of course we're looking at these pictures now from the airport where people have gone to the highest ground they can possibly find. And of course water surrounds them at the base there. And as you mentioned, presumably that area where the water is sweeping under is a measure in place to ensure that when these tsunamis hit, the water can actually clear the area. area. But of course, the problem is for anyone who unfortunately was on the ground at the time. And of course, Matt, we talk about how, you know, hopefully casualties will be low. We keep comparing this to the quake back in 2004 that particularly affected Indonesia, the one in the Indian Ocean. Of course, the difference here, as you point out, the structures, and we're just going to pause, and Matt, I want you to stay there if you wouldn't mind. We're going to pause just for a moment to listen in to NHK coverage.
Chiba Prefecture lies right north of Tokyo, and you can see an inferno, fire breaking out, and large fire breaking out on an oil refinery in Chiba Prefecture. Black smoke seen billowing from the refinery, and it looks like firefighters are having an almost impossible situation to be able to control that at this time. A large fire breaking out of an oil refinery in Chiba Prefecture. And that fire does not look like it's going to be going out anytime soon. Obviously, we are reporting this as we see things and as information starts coming into our newsroom. Things fluid, developing as we speak. Several fires have broken out in Tokyo as well. The fire department says fires have been reported in several places, including Ariake in central Tokyo. That is the area where has been reclaimed land along the coastal areas. Right now you're seeing fire breaking out at an oil refinery in Chiba Prefecture in Ichihara area. Chiba, northeast of Tokyo. Our helicopter